Are you struggling to bind Vue filters using TypeScript? You're not alone. Many developers find this transition tricky, especially when coming from plain JavaScript. Today, we're going to simplify this process for you. I totally get it. You might be thinking, it was so easy in JavaScript, why is TypeScript giving me a headache? This is a common frustration, and we're here to tackle it together. Let's dive into the specific question at hand. One user asked, how should Vue filters be bound using TypeScript? They provided some code and mentioned running into a compile error. Sound familiar? Let's break it down. The issue arises from TypeScript's strict typing system. When you try to register filters, TypeScript needs to know the types involved. The error message indicates that TypeScript doesn't recognize the structure of your filters object. Let's clarify this. And stick around. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand how to bind Vue filters in TypeScript, but also avoid common pitfalls. To resolve the issue with Vue filters in TypeScript, the user should first ensure that the filters are properly typed. This means defining the types for the filters in the filters file. Next, the user needs to create an interface that describes the shape of the filters object. This will help TypeScript understand the structure of the filters being registered. Now, the user should modify the filters import to use the defined interface. This will ensure that TypeScript recognizes the filters as a valid object with specific types. Finally, the user can register the filters using the typed object. This will eliminate the compile error and allow the filters to be used correctly in the Vue application. Fun fact, did you know that TypeScript was developed by Microsoft to help developers catch errors early? It's like having a safety net while coding. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative approach to binding Vue filters with TypeScript involves creating a plugin. This user suggests defining your filters in a separate file, such as plugins filters.ts, where you can register each filter using the Vue.filter method. Then, in your main.ts file, you simply import this plugin and use Vue.use to install it. Now, let's shift our focus to a different response. An alternative approach for binding Vue filters using TypeScript involves creating a custom filter in a separate file. First, you import Vue and define your filter function. Then, you export this filter. In your main file, you import the custom filter and include it in the Vue instance's filters option. That's the end of that answer. Let's see another perspective. An alternative approach shared by another user involves defining your filters in a specific format. In filters.ts, you can export an object with your filter functions, ensuring to cast it to an index signature type. Then, in your main.ts file, import the filters and register them globally using a loop. This method helps avoid the compile error you encountered. Now, let's see a response from a different user. An alternative approach suggested by a user is to use type assertion. This allows you to bypass the TypeScript error by asserting the type of filters as any. This way, you can register the filters without encountering the compile error. Here's a pro tip. Always define types for your objects in TypeScript. It saves you from headaches down the line and makes your code more maintainable. And there you have it. You should now be able to bind Vue filters using TypeScript without any issues. Remember, clear typing is key in TypeScript. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks.